What's all going on, guys? It's Hosley from Hosley Autos 1953. So today we're going to make chicken and rice. Just a little bit of a mess. Kitchen ain't perfect, but basically the way this works is you're going to use rice. You're going to fry it up because this is Spanish rice. It's called Pollo con Arroz, but it's Spanish rice that we're going to be doing. And this is the best rice you can use, honestly. I don't use long grain. And the reason why I don't use long grain is because it's tougher rice. So you use medium grain. That's the best one you can use. You can get over at your Kroger stores, King Soopers, Safeway, Albertsons if you have those ones. But you're going to use, typically it's going to be like an 8-ounce cup, which is just about a regular coffee cup. You're going to go ahead and put it in the frying pan. As you can see there, get it to focus. You're going to add oil and you're going to fry the rice. You want to brown it. So once you brown the rice, then you're going to go ahead and put it over in the sink in a strainer so that way it can rinse it off. I'm going to take you step by step through the process. And what we use for this is chicken thighs. It's the best. You cut up in smaller chunk pieces. More traditional way is to do chicken drums. That's what a lot of people prefer in the Spanish community, but I personally like to do chicken thighs cut up into smaller bits and pieces. Add in the skin because the skin has fattening in it, and the fat from the chicken will give it more flavor. For this recipe, you're going to need 1 chicken bouillon cube, right around 3 tablespoons of salt, 1 can of tomato sauce. You'll need a half pack of chicken thighs. Like I said, 1 cup of 8-ounce rice. Well, after it's been fried, you're going to need celery, bell pepper, which you'll blend it up into a puree liquid. You're going to dice up fine onions, throw it in there. This recipe calls for cumin, and that's a teaspoon. You can do 2 teaspoons, up to you. But a teaspoon of cumin and a teaspoon of garlic powder or granulated garlic. You can use fresh garlic as well. But we're at the stage right now of frying up the rice. Once this gets done, I'll get back to you and show you what it looks like when it's fried up. Right now we're at the part while the rice is over here frying up. We're going to debone the chicken. So basically you're going to cut it around, debone the thigh, and get that out of there. So on this, based on how big the pack is, for this recipe it calls for about, you can do 8 of them or 6 for this size of a pan. So I'm going ahead and get this cut up, and then I will be back and show you the process. As you can see here, yes, I went a little bit excessive on the oil, but you can see that the rice is frying up already. And I'll show you what it looks like when it's brown, alright? But don't forget to stir it up because you don't want the rice to sit in the same spot. It will burn. So with that being said, we're going to let that go ahead and continue frying. We're going to get these over here deboned and cut up to smaller chunks for this recipe. Alright, so as you can see, we are now about at the state of what the rice should look like when it's brown. And you don't really want to brown it any darker than that. That's as far as you want to go with the rice being brown. You can see I'm still in the process here. Basically, you're going to cut the chicken up here into smaller pieces, as you can see, small chunks. That's what we're going to do there with the chicken. Now I'm going to go ahead and get this strained out so that can be done with, and we're going to continue the process of cutting the chicken, alright? Hold on, and we'll be back here in a couple seconds. Let's go ahead and get back to cooking. We're going to go ahead and get this deboned. The best way to do it is grab it, put it open like that, get behind that. And a lot of you worry because you're like, wow, you're pretty close to your knuckle there. Yes, I was indeed, but you got to be willing to give up something when you're cooking. So this is basically what you're going to do when you debone it. These are complete nice debone. You're going to go ahead and just cut these in smaller pieces, smaller bits, as you can see there, as I'm doing. So This recipe calls for about 6 to 8 thighs based on their size. Leave the skin in contact of it, intact of it too. You can use white meat. Preference is dark meat on it because it's more juicier. A lot of people prefer the chicken breast. It's just your preference on how you like your meal to be. So basically you can see I cut it in strips. So I cut it in strips there. We're going to go ahead, go back, and we're going to cut again. We're going to make them smaller pieces. And like I said, do leave the skin in contact. The skin gives it more flavor, more juice to it, you know. Tend to see a lot of people that get so squeamish about it, like, oh, we don't like the skin, etc., etc., and that's where they mess up. I mean, that's where you want to avoid messing up like that, because remember, people, the fat is under the skin, and chicken doesn't have that much fat, but that fat is what's going to give your meal that good flavor. And on top of that, that fat's going to help the rice cook and not stick as well. Now, you're going to need to put in roughly like a shot glass size, or you can do 3 to 4 tablespoons of vegetable cooking oil in this recipe. And the reason why is it's to help the rice not stick while it's cooking. And that's if you decide to go the opposite direction in it and use lean meat. Lean meat's your white meat, like chicken breast, and you don't like the chicken skin and you want to kick it out of this recipe. So by doing that, you're going to have some kind of oil and additive into it, so that way the rice will not stick. Now, this recipe calls for about 32 ounces of water. You can use fresh tap water, you can use bottled water, it's your choice and your preference. So we got our 32 ounce cup here. I'm going to go ahead and put it into the pan. And typically we're looking right around 2 32 ounce cups of water. What I do is I play it by ear. I will put 1 32 ounce. I have a 32 ounce, it'll be close to like 14 to 15 ounce. So it'll be half. While it's cooking, you're going to go ahead and play it by eye and ear and just watch it. You know, if for any reason you start to see that the rice is starting to dry up a little too much and needs a little bit more liquid, you're going to go ahead and add some more water into it. But I'm going to go ahead and finish getting this chicken cut up here, and we will be right back. Alright, we're back. So the chicken's ready in there. What we're going to do is we're going to go in here, turn it on, and we're going to set it at medium to high. Okay, you can see that flame roar down there. Now, the goal on this is you're going to let this cook where it's halfway cooked, and then you're going to add the rice into it. So here's the rest of the ingredients, okay? Granulated garlic, mortar salt, celery, onion, bell pepper, 1 small 8 ounce can of tomato sauce, and cumin. Now let me show you the difference on the spoons. This is a teaspoon. This is a tablespoon. This here is considered a serving / soup spoon, okay? So that being said, that's that. So typically what I do is I use one of these bigger spoons here, serving spoon, which will be 2 of these tablespoons to equal one of those. So you want to do 3 to 4 of these spoons of salt, or 2 tastes. You're going to do a teaspoon of cumin and a teaspoon of that garlic powders, okay? Granulated garlic. You're going to dice this up, and the bell pepper, you're going to puree that to liquid. You're going to go ahead and dump it in here, dice your onion up, and just throw it directly in there. I'm going to go ahead and get the spices situated really quick so you can see. exactly what we're doing. Let me set the camera back up here. All right. That is our teaspoon of garlic. Here's our teaspoon of cumin. I'm going to go ahead and drop that in. Pick up the leftover excess. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and add our tomato sauce in there. Like I said, it's about an 8 ounce can of tomato sauce directly into. Now, you can use V8 for this as well. That's your preference. Now it calls, like I said, for a tablespoon about 3 to 4 of these. My preference, I use one of these, a serving spoon. For now, I'm just going to put one in. And we cannot forget the bouillon chicken cube. That is a must. Here's the bouillon chicken cube. Go ahead, if you can, break that down in there already. Alright, with that being done, we're going to let that simmer down. We're going to go ahead and we're going to give that a quick stir. I'm going to stir that into the pot. And this is basically how you make the Spanish rice as well. Same ingredients minus the chicken. So because I have enough fat in this and chicken, which I actually went a little overboard with the chicken, I went ahead and used the whole pack. I'm going to let that cook down halfway through and then we'll add the rice. But I'm going to go ahead and get this onion diced up. Get these diced up as well. Those two are going to go ahead and go in the blender. That's going to go diced up and go ahead and go into the pan. We'll be back here in a couple of minutes, alright? So the onions diced, we're going to go ahead, we're going to add that in. Now you're adding all this ahead of time. A lot of people like to add it towards the end, but you want to add it right now. The reason why you want to add it right now is because it seasons and it flavors the chicken. Okay, that's in there. I'm going to give it a little bit of a stir. And let that sit there. Continue cooking, and I will show you when the chicken's halfway cooked when adding the rice. Let me go ahead and get these diced up and puree blend, and we'll add that into there. Alright, so this chicken's at the halfway point. We're going to go ahead and we're going to add our rice. With the rice added in already, we're just going to stir it up a bit. We're going to make it nice and even. So once it's even and the rice is in there, then we're going to go ahead and let that sit. We're going to put a lid on it. And typically we're looking right around, maybe I'm thinking 20 minutes to 25 minutes that you want to let it sit like that. Once you get to about the 20-minute mark, go ahead and shut it off. Let it sit. Let the rice stand for 15 minutes. And this is the process where it's really tricky, because you take the risk, and you're going to bring the heat down to medium, a little bit below medium. But you take the risk right now that if you don't do it the proper way and you overcook the rice, it can get mushy on you and turn into soup. You're looking for the rice to be nice and fluffy. So with that being said, that's done. We're going to put a lid on it. We'll come back within 25 minutes, take a look at it. And when you check up on it, you want to typically check up on it within 15 minutes. Turn it When I say turn it, you're going to turn it into itself from the outside edges in, and then once in the middle, let it sit again. If it needs a little bit more liquid, add a little bit more water, and that should be it. With that being said, we're going to put a lid on it, and we'll be back here shortly. Alright, and we're back. Now, as you can see, the chicken rice is already done. It's completely cooked all the way. That's basically all it takes to make the chicken rice, known as Pollo con Arroz in the Spanish terms. It's real beautiful and done. The number one thing, though, is to make sure that you watch out how much rice you use, because you use too much rice, it'll get real mushy, especially when you're cooking it with the chicken. But rather than that, it's perfect. It's done. It's ready to go. That being said, thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, favor, and I will see you hopefully on the next video that I make here soon. Thank you guys. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for being a part of Hostley Autos 1953. Till next time.